Welcome back to the EZCreditPR Podcast. I'm your host, Moises Santiago, and today we're talking about something that honestly creates a lot of confusion for consumers. Stalling tactics people believe they run into during the credit dispute process. Joining me is Paige. Paige, welcome.
Thank you, Moises. I'm glad to be here because, this is one of those topics people deal with all the time, but they don't always understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. A lot of people send in a dispute thinking every detail will be thoroughly reviewed, and then 30 days later, they get a short response saying the account was verified. Nothing changes, and they're left asking what just happened.
Right. And that frustration is real. Consumers want to know how it was verified, what records were reviewed, who handled the investigation, and whether anyone actually looked at the supporting documents in a meaningful way.
So let's start simple. For someone listening who's brand new to this, what is a credit dispute?
A credit dispute is when a consumer challenges information on a credit report that they believe is inaccurate or incomplete. That can include late payments, collections, charge-offs, duplicate accounts, mixed files, or accounts tied to identity theft. Under federal law, consumers do have the right to dispute that information.
And here's an important point a lot of people miss. Credit bureaus are businesses. They're not government agencies, right?
Correct. The major credit bureaus are for-profit companies. They collect information from lenders, banks, card issuers, collection agencies, and other furnishers. And according to federal consumer guidance, much of the dispute process can be heavily automated, which surprises people.
That's huge. Because when someone reads the account has been verified, they may assume a person sat down, reviewed every page, checked every fact, and made this detailed decision.
Exactly. But that short result doesn't necessarily explain what evidence was examined, how the conclusion was reached, or whether the furnisher simply confirmed the data it already had. That lack of detail is a big reason consumers feel like the process is stalling.
And Paige, the timing matters too. People hear 30 days all the time. What does that actually refer to?
Generally, credit bureaus have 30 days to investigate a dispute, and furnishers also generally have 30 days to investigate and respond when a dispute is sent directly to them. In some situations, if the consumer sends additional relevant information during that window, there can be extra time. So, the timeline is real, but it doesn't always mean the answer will be satisfying.
That's such a good distinction. Meeting a deadline is not the same thing as giving a clear explanation. And that's where people get upset.
Exactly. A response can be timely and still feel incomplete. Federal consumer regulators have even warned that some dispute results sent to consumers were unclear, which tells you this is not just a personal impression people are having.
Wow. So if someone says, I know this account is wrong, but it came back verified, what should they be doing?
First, document everything. Save copies of the dispute letters, the credit reports, the bureau responses, and mailing receipts if they sent things by certified mail. That paper trail matters. Second, dispute with both the credit bureau and the furnisher when appropriate, because each has obligations to investigate. And if the information cannot be verified, it's supposed to be corrected or removed.
That's important. So this really becomes a process of being organized, being specific, and not assuming that one short letter is the end of the road.
Absolutely. Consumers should be clear, factual, and persistent. If the furnisher says the information is accurate, the consumer may also be able to ask for a statement of dispute to be added to the file. And if they believe the process was mishandled, they can submit a complaint to the Federal Consumer Watchdog.
I like that because it gives people a next step instead of just frustration. Paige, before we wrap this part, what's the biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway is this. A verified result is not always a transparent result. Consumers have rights, but they also need records, patience, and a strategy. The more organized they are, the stronger their position becomes.
Finally, a clear path forward.
My financial goals feel closer.
Empowering your credit journey.
Let's be real. Trying to fix your credit on your own can get frustrating. Same steps, same results, nothing really changes. At EZCreditPR, we focus on education first. We help you understand what is really affecting your credit so you stop guessing and start moving the right way.
Powering your credit journey.
Welcome back to the EZCreditPR Podcast. I'm Moises Santiago, and today we're wrapping up our conversation on stalling tactics used by credit bureaus. And honestly, this matters because when people see an error on a credit report, they usually want one thing: a clear process and a real answer.
Exactly. And the big takeaway is that consumers do have rights. Under federal consumer protection rules, credit reporting agencies generally have to investigate disputes, and that process usually happens within about 30 days. So yeah, knowledge really changes how you respond.
Right. And that's such an important point because a lot of people assume delays automatically mean they did something wrong.
Not necessarily. Sometimes the system itself feels slow, confusing, or overly procedural. A consumer may be asked for more detail, more documentation, or they may get responses that feel generic. And that's where frustration builds, because it can feel like the issue is being pushed down the road instead of actually reviewed.
Absolutely. And according to guidance from federal consumer agencies, people also need to know that disputes can't just be brushed aside without standards. There are rules around investigations, and there are limits on when a dispute can be treated as frivolous or irrelevant.
That's right. And, regulators have repeatedly said consumers have the right to dispute inaccurate information and have that claim investigated. So when we talk about stalling tactics, we're really talking about why education matters so much. If you understand the process, you're less likely to be intimidated by it.
And let's be real. When someone's trying to buy a home, finance a car, or just protect their name, delays are not a small thing.
Exactly. A delay can affect real life. It can affect opportunities, confidence, even peace of mind. That's why consumers should keep records, stay organized, and understand what the dispute process is supposed to look like. It sounds simple, but that preparation can make a huge difference.
That's a great point. So let's finish with the most important lesson from today's episode.
Education. Knowledge is your greatest asset. The more you understand the credit reporting system, the better equipped you are to navigate challenges when they arise.
I couldn't agree more. This episode isn't about fear. It's about awareness, understanding the process, understanding your rights, and making informed decisions.
Exactly. Consumers who educate themselves are in a much stronger position than consumers who simply guess.
Finally, a clear path forward.
My financial goals feel closer.
Empowering your credit journey.
Let's be real. Trying to fix your credit on your own can get frustrating. Same steps, same results, nothing really changes. At EZCreditPR, we focus on education first. We help you understand what is really affecting your credit so you stop guessing and start moving the right way.
Powering your credit journey.
Welcome back to the EZCreditPR Podcast. I'm Moises Santiago, and today we're digging into another stalling tactic consumers say can feel really intimidating. What happens when a credit bureau responds and says, your dispute is frivolous?
Yeah, and honestly, that wording alone can make people panic. It sounds harsh. But generally speaking, a bureau may label a dispute that way if it believes there isn't enough information to investigate, if the same issue keeps getting submitted over and over, or if the dispute just doesn't clearly explain what's wrong.
Right. So for a consumer hearing that, the big question is, okay, what does that actually mean for me next?
It usually means the bureau may ask for more information before moving forward. And that part can be legitimate. Under federal credit reporting rules, disputes can be rejected if they don't give enough detail to investigate. So the key is clarity. What account is wrong, what specific item is wrong, and what documents support the claim.
Exactly. And that's important because sometimes people think, well, I already said it was inaccurate. Isn't that enough?
Sometimes it isn't. Saying something is wrong is a start, but it helps to include enough detail so the bureau can identify the account, the item being challenged, and the reason the consumer believes it's inaccurate or incomplete.
Now let's talk about another response that really catches people off guard. Sometimes a bureau suggests the consumer may be working with a credit repair company. That can feel a little loaded, right?
It definitely can. Consumers do sometimes receive responses that mention possible third-party involvement, but really, the central issue should still be the same. Is the information being reported accurate and complete? That question does not change based on who helped prepare the dispute.
That's a great point. So whether someone filed the dispute alone or got assistance, the focus should stay on the reporting itself.
Exactly. The reporting is the issue. Sometimes consumers get distracted by the language in the response, but the real question is still, is this account, balance, date, or status being reported correctly?
Let's move to another one we see a lot. The Bureau says we need additional information. Now, Paige, sometimes that's valid, but sometimes consumers feel like they're being sent in circles.
Yes, that's where frustration really starts to build. In some cases, the request is completely legitimate. The Bureau may need identification, proof of address, supporting documents, or just more clarification. That can be part of a normal review process.
Right.
But the challenge is when a consumer feels they're being asked again and again for information they already submitted. And once that starts happening, people understandably feel the process is being delayed rather than resolved.
And that emotional side matters because for a lot of people, this isn't just paperwork. This affects lending, housing, interest rates, even peace of mind.
Absolutely. That's why consumers need to stay organized and specific. Keep copies, track what was sent, and make sure each dispute clearly explains the problem. If more information is requested, respond with exactly what is needed and know whether it was already provided before.
So, in other words, don't let intimidating language throw you off. Slow down, review the response carefully, and focus on the facts.
Yes, stay factual, stay detailed, and stay consistent. A request for more information is not always a bad sign, but repeated or vague requests can feel like a stalling pattern to consumers, especially when they've already done their part.
Paige, that was really helpful. And for everyone watching or listening, the takeaway here is simple. If a dispute is called frivolous, or if more documents are requested, don't assume the conversation is over. Ask what is missing, stay precise, and keep the focus on whether the reporting is accurate and complete.
Exactly.
Did you know you can get started with EZCreditPR LLC for just $1? That's right, for only $1, you can activate a 7-day smart credit trial directly through the banner on our website. This gives you access to your credit information so we can begin reviewing your credit profile. Once your smart credit account is active, our team can analyze your credit report and identify the factors that may be affecting your overall credit profile. We review payment history, collections, charge-offs, credit utilization, account status, and other key reporting factors. Our goal is simple: to help you understand your credit, to help you understand what you're looking at, and to help you make informed decisions moving forward. We believe education comes first because before you can improve anything, you need to understand where you stand today. Getting started takes only a few minutes. Simply visit EZCreditPR.com, click the Smart Credit banner. Activate your $1 7-day trial and take the first step toward understanding your credit profile.
Empowering your credit journey.